Hi, this is IK. Welcome to video compiling for the React Beginner's Book Part 3. Here is a navigation structure of our application. Browser router is React router element version 6. Browser router is all inside that component. We have inside that element, React router element, is there is routes, and inside the routes is routes plural, and root single by single root is inside of that. It means we have an element browser router. It is built in React router element. After that we have a routes element. Here it is, hierarchical structure. And look at the root, must go a little inside, and this root is here. Root, and root is the same level. We have, and now again, React element browser router is a parent component for routes plural, and routes component is parent for a root. All root is inside routes. And inside routes we have our structure of root. And look at root, this root of app topic component, app.js, here it is opening React router React element root. It is opening, and here is here is that root is closed root. This is closed root, and we can make this a little bit indent, because inside of this root we have two child root, 1, 2. One child root, this is self-closed, and other child root is self-closed. Look at here, self-closed. And all component, what we see inside this child root, that component physically stay on in some time when it is need, or always. No, sometime, because they are in root and don't stay always. Because of that, they are in routes. Depend about routes. It depend about route. What component is lay physically on app component, and it means that in this root, blog post component, blog post menu, is a child component of app, and in some other time when we depend about click on link, is in this root is element blog post. And this element blog post, there is a parameter in web address. Depend of parameter, we have concretely blog post, single post. Blog post menu component is all post, component with all post. And this root, there is a properties index. It means that what is here in index, we will see first, we will see as home page. But there is one more component, and that component is not here in root. It is component a blog post menu left. Blog post menu left. Here it is. Blog post menu left. And that component is in app.js. That component in app.js is app.js is always physically here blog post menu left, always lay on app, not depend about our choose on in links, our clicking. It is always lay on app. It is not it is have not blog post menu have not root, stay always on app, and physically it is always child of app. And it is visible in works. This is left. It is a title of post, and it is a component blog posts menu left. And what is web, how to build, it is all component. It is component blog posts menu. And when I click what is web, I have what is web only. When I go back home, I have blog posts menu. When I click on title link again, I have blog post. It is singular. And this right side, it is changing of in index. It is this, at first blog post menu we have. And when we click on title, we have a blog post. When we click home, we have a root index with the properties index, and we have blog post menu. When we click a title of concretely post, we have blog post, single post. And but I incorporate in component blog post menu, I incorporate hook use effect. It is function hook, and what we give in body of that function, look at, it will happen in a moment when just before component mounted, component finished rendering. And in this situation, we have alert, component blog post menu has finished rendering. In that moment when in real time a component finished rendering. And thanks to it, use effect, we can control, analyze when component rendering. And look at now. When we start refresh at first, a component blog post menu left has finished rendering. Left. That is component what stay physically in app.js, topic component, and not rendering that topic. It is normal because must be rendered before that, must be rendered child. And it is first blog post menu left JS, it is child who physically stay on app.js. After we said okay, who will, other child will be blog post menu. Click, here it is, component blog post. Okay, I go all cycle, up and now again. Now is blog post menu left. Okay, but after that must be rendered blog post what is let's see how component rendering, order of rendering. When we refresh, at first we have rendering, finished rendering blog post menu left. It is component would stay always on app.js, on topic component. And of course is not rendering first that app parents, because parents can be rendered, must be rendered first, must be rendered content of app of parents, and one of content is a blog post menu left, must be rendering. Okay, what after that? After that must be rendered because it is home page, refresh, must be rendered blog posts menu.js. Left first and this right position next. Okay. Here it is, blog post menu has finished rendering. It is on home page. It is second component, second child, and after that, okay, will be rendered app, parent, app.js, okay? App.js has finished rendering, and now we can see our web page. And now, when we click again on home, there is no rendering. There is no rendering because it is same content, nothing change, same content, same data, nothing change in that data, in that component, and we have no re-rendering. Now it is home. Now we go to what is web, some title, and component blog post has finished rendering. It is component would coming instead of a blog posts menu, this right component. But look at left component, blog post menu left, not re-rendering. Not re-rendering, and app parents component not re-rendering, only blog post.js. Okay, here it is, one block, web is web. If I click on what other title, I have only blog post, again blog post, because new title, new data, and component must be rendering. It is new parameter. And only blog post, not rendering up, not rendering this left menu, blog posts menu left, not only blog post single. Here it is. Again, here it is. Web Okay. Web. Okay. And now here is some interesting. It is until now it's normal, but now last time when I click in what is web, look at blog post, but there is nothing new in blog post.js. I click on the same title, what is web? Okay. Again, what is web? Again, blog post re-rendering. Okay. What is web? Okay. Again, blog post has finished rendering. Okay. But rules is that component re-rendering only if there is a changes in data of that component. But we have not changes. We have same single post. What is web title, same image and same this text. Again, when I click at home, nothing changes in home. I have 4 posts in state, same post, nothing changed. It is fixed data. It is some file, JSON file with the same data. And I go back to home. Look at now. Blog post menu.js has finished rendering. Why? Because nothing changed in blog post menu.js. Okay, and we have home. Now when I click on home, there is nothing. It's okay. There is nothing. There is no re-rendering. But when I click on what is web, blog post.js has finished. Okay. Now it is one post. When I go back home, again I have blog post menu.js re-rendering, but not changes in data. Nothing changes. The props not changes props, because in this application we have only props properties. We have not state, but we have properties. About state and properties I will talk a lot of. This is only one warming, our warming for that discussion and beginning of that discussion. And we have same data, so data not changes, but re-rendering component, this right menu, blog posts menu, re-rendering. Also, what is web? Okay. Again, what is web? Okay. Again, what is web? Okay. Every time re-rendering. Why? I discuss it with artificial intelligence, OpenGPT, and I thinking about that, and I conclude before talking with artificial, I conclude that we have not re-rendering up topic, because it is the same, nothing new, and there is no re-rendering app.js, blog post menu left, because that component lay on the app component. It is child of app, but physically connected, always connected. Blog post menu left is always here in like child of map. But second child of app is element outlet. It is built-in element what coming with the router 6 version, and in that outlet coming child. This is blog post menu left is fixed child because we need always that blog post menu left visible, left side. It is like our menu. Because of that I call menu left. It is only title of post. And it is our navigational links for navigation. But it is child. But second child is outlet. And our blog posts menu component and our blog post single post component, they coming inside of outlet. Outlet is parent to a component blog post and component blog posts menu. It means that app component is parent to outlet component, and outlet component is parent to our blog post and blog posts menu component. Depend what we click, depend about a route. And component, child component of outlet coming here through routes. And again, we look at the routes. This is a route, child route. This is parent route. Parent route. Inside parent route, there is a two child route. Two child route is blog post menu and blog post, but that child route go in outlet. It is always like that in router 6. Before that, there is no outlet. Now we have outlet and child route. Child routes go in outlet. Because of that, I conclude that outlet re-rendering, but I cannot see, and I don't explore where I can control outlet. But outlet is a component, built-in component as any others. It is router, React router element, React router component. It is synonym. And this child go instead of, not instead, but inside that component. Instead, if they go instead, we don't need outlet component. It must go inside of outlet. When it means that outlet re-rendering, because the data of outlet changes. What is data of outlet? Blog post menu, blog post menu, blog post. Every time other component or same component when we click more time on blog post, because blog post there is parameter in address, and every time we click that difference, that blog post must have parameter, and blog post menu there is no parameter. Because of that, look at here, when we click on home, first blog post menu, Okay, but now home there is no re-rendering, because home there is no parameter. But when we click what is web, we have blog post, and now we have blog post, but same, again blog post. It is only differences in parameter here, in parameter. It means that outlet re-rendering every time when we click parameter, even though that parameter is same single post. It is now experienced, our Explorer experienced knowledge. Here it is, home, only one, and after that home, don't go. Here we are again. It is about mounted. It is about finished rendering. It is order of rendering our component, and order is before render, always child. Render it before, because they are part of parents, and parents must have all rendered to be rendered, to be itself rendered. And after thinking like that, I go to talk with artificial intelligence, GPT, OpenGPT. Here it is. Here it is. GPT. It would be a big discussion. Here I said that my conclusion have been rendered when we click on link that bring new component in that. And that component is new data for outlet. I said here conclusion, but I must have said artificial response. It sounds like you are referring to the use of outlet component in the React router library. The outlet component is used to render. Now speak to me some beginners school about outlet. I hope, I expect here that artificial said, yes, okay, it's right, artificial not understand me. Yes, that I would be short in this explanation, but okay, artificial don't understand and spoke me about basic knowledge about outlet. And after that I said child 1 is the same, child 2 is the same, but every time we clicked they will be rendered. Why? They are it's the same. And again, the child 1 and child 2 component are identical, then it might seem unnecessary to render them again each time the user navigates to the corresponding route. However, it's important to keep in mind that React is designed to be declarative library. It is now for beginners, total beginners, it would be total ununderstandable what now declarative library have in connect with this, but what have I spoke in my video about declarative. I will spoke again. Declarative here. Declarative means that React works somehow what we want. Work by itself, not by our will. React work how we'll want to work, but goal must be what we want. We give goals, what goals we want, and the React work to that goals. What is the best for all software, and that will of React, under quota will, the possibility that React resolve that React do something by itself, it is declarative programming. And here artificial want to say that okay, must be some reason that React re-render component, but we don't know this moment, we don't know what is that reason, but there is a reason, because React, and if we want, we must explore why React re-render this component. And all of like that, here is all repeating what he said before, and I must say sorry, not same, but they different. Look at, sorry, it is communication like with people, but it is because it is we don't need like that, but it is because with artificial intelligence is language intelligence at first, and they spoke with us with the people's language, and our reaction we spoke like people. And okay, not same, but they different. But when I click first time on link to child 1, is rendered. After that I click on child 2, is rendered. And now I click again to child 1 and it re-rendered. Clicked again on child 2, is re-rendered. Why it's re-rendered every time I clicked on it, even there is no changes. And again, it's possible that the reason the components are rendered every time you navigate to their respective route is because the parent, look at how very literal sentence give us this artificial, but I want to show you one example where I lose time. My talking with artificial totally lose time because in the end, after a lot of discussion, artificial conclude with me that reason is outlet, re-rendering outlet. That reason what I begin discussion is that component not alone, component go inside outlet, and every time that component is data for outlet. And one component, second component, it is changes data for outlet. And outlet re-rendering, but I have not alert. I don't see, and this moment I'm not interested in that. Outlet rendered, but I see that my component re-rendered. Because outlet re-rendering, because when parent re-rendering, it must be rendered child before of that. And I see that child re-rendered. And it is because of outlet, because I have no re-rendered blog post menu left. Because blog post menu left is not inside outlet. And it is always in app.js, and we have no re-rendered app.js. We have no re-rendered blog post menu left, but we re-rendering only component what changes one time one, other time other component changes places inside outlet. And after that, all the discussion, look at, because every time artificial try repeating what say before, and a lot of time give me possibility to give me script and example how stop re-rendering of component, but it is not look at here with the memo, and I use the memo. Look at how many concretely my script, and here here give me, after conclude that is outlet, give me this use callback. I not experiment with it, because before I experiment with memo, look at here, blog post menu, here is a memo, I incorporate that memo, but nothing help, it's nothing help, because outlet is here is important. All analyze go to outlet as parent of blog post menu and blog post singular post. This is example where I lose time with artificial, but concludes for you also, because I talk with total beginners, but this is 1 year I create video for total beginners, and after 1 year, I think about 1 year, this series, this playlist is I building this playlist. After so many video, you are not beginners, you are not total beginners, and I can spoke about artificial intelligence, that you use that artificial intelligence. I think about it all the best. I use it a lot of, but more and more times when I have more and more experience, and my possibility to thinking about programming, about React application, more and more times I see that my usefulness of GPT is less and less, that I can that my experience support me better and better than artificial. And you as beginners will find how you GPT the best is useful for you. Every of us individual must explore how useful, how useful how question artificial intelligence, what to said artificial intelligence. Important is the most possible focus, is the best question, most focused question is one thing, but you also can ask a very, very generic question. For example, what topic would you what topic goes in some book about React? And you will see that topic, and you can start to learn topic by topic. And it is this generic book, the generic information. Until now, artificial is excellent, but for specific, for error, also for generate some code, excellent, but for specific analyzing, like this example in this video, can be very, very lot of losing time, word of losing. Because in this discussion, even though artificial intelligence agree with me that outlet is reason, re-rendering, even though they after that give me example where I can stop that re-rendering, but stop component, child component, stop component. But we conclude that our component is a child component of outlet, and we cannot speak about them as component. They are child component of outlet, and but artificial as forget that and speak about callback and some example how to stop re-rendering component, but not how to stop re-rendering outlet child component. Okay, this is compiling about book. I ask myself, what is better for this analyze like this one? Does it better book or a video? Because in book you can concentrate on that sentence, go forth, go back. You can use mark, and but learn by eye. I think it is a better concentration of author also, and in shorter form you will have that explanation and more focus. But in video, some people speak very fast on some explanation like this one. I personally like it in a book. Because of that, I hope I I want to begin write a book about React for total beginners. And it is only one channel between me and you, teachers and students, and like it will have it on the market. Where is millions lecture, millions video, where there is a million books and blogs, there is a place for my video and my books. Okay, if you know somebody that need a video like that, say them, talk about on your social network, comment, subscribe, like, and if our community grow, all we grow in that community. We would know more. Here in the video is only my experience, and with your comment, with your subscription and like, I have your opinion also. Thank you for watching this video.